So today we finished Musaf last week. And today we're going to start with Sim Shalom. It comes as the final blessing within the Amidah, the standing prayer, during which we step forward to stand in the presence of the divine. The Amidah is also known as the Shmona Esrei, literally 18, because it originally had 18 blessings, but for many centuries now it's had 19. It was instituted by the rabbis of the Talmud to help people understand the core essential elements of what could or should constitute daily prayer. In the Amidah, the opening blessings are praise, the middle blessings are requests, and the final blessings are thanks. On Shabbat, we leave out the middle blessings. We don't ask for God for anything on Shabbat and replace them with a single blessing for Shabbat itself. So Sim Shalom is the final blessing of thanks. And I know there are many, many different tunes for this. So let me bring up the slideshow. We will read it. If you want to sing it later, we can. Let me get to the right one. How does that look? Is that good size for everyone?
Yep.
A little larger would be good.
I cannot do it larger in this if I present it full page. I can if I can do it this way.
Just the Hebrew?
Hold on.
Debbie, what I did is I just printed out what you sent, so that I
Yeah.
can make it bigger.
I did too.
So I can do it this.
It's in the prayer book that it's a challenge to see it.
So I have that. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So using the, hold on, I got to get you guys so I can see you all. Using the suggestion that I think Helene made about two people reading, one read the first line, one read the second line, and then they switch. So you're hearing it twice and everybody gets to read everything. Let's try it today. Would somebody like to start us off with Sim Shalom? Okay, Gail, why don't you start the first line and we need someone to read the second line. Hannah, you want to read the second line and then you'll flip flop.
Fine.
Okay.
You want to start, Gail?
Sim shalom ba'olam tova uvracha.
Nice job.
Chen v'chesed rachamim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha.
Nice job. Hannah, would you read the first line and then Gail will read the second line?
Sim shalom ba'olam tova uvracha.
Chen v'chesed
Careful, check the vowel under the chet.
v'chesed
There you go.
v'rachamim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael amecha.
Nice job. Now, Helene, did we do that? Did people do that for those two lines the whole way through? Like
Yeah.
now two other people will do it?
Two
now?
other, yes.
All right, let's have another pair do those same two lines. Robin and Elaine. Robin, do you want to go first?
Sure. Barchenu Avinu Kulanu Be'echad Be'or Hanecha.
Beautiful.
Oh, I can't keep up with that.
That's okay. Take your time.
The best you can.
Ki vaor panecha natan. Wait a minute. Natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu.
What do you mean you can't keep up with that? You did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, Elaine, would you start that third line and you do the first and
Sure.
Okay.
Barhenu Avinu Kulanu Ka'echad ba'or panecha.
Beautiful.
Ki ve'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu.
Beautiful. All right, we need two more people for the next set. Lori and Artis. Lori, you want to go first?
Torat, right there.
Yep.
Torat, Chaim, Havat, Chesed.
Nice.
Utstacha, Uvracha, Barachamim, V'Hayim, V'Shalom.
Nice. Artis, will you go back up a line and try that one?
This one, Torat,
Torat. Yeah.
that one? Yeah.
Yes.
Torat, Hayim, Vet, Hasedek.
Okay,
Hased,
let's read those last two lines, the last two words again.
Ve'ahavat, Hased.
One more time on the last word.
Chesed.
There
Chesed.
you go.
Chesed.
Chesed.
Okay.
Good.
I'll get it eventually. Okay.
You will.
Utz, keep going.
Yes.
Utzdaka, Utzdaka or Utzdaka? Which one?
Oots, because,
Utzdaka.
yep,
Because,
because there are two vowels in the row. You've got the
okay,
vowel inside the vav and the shva. So it's
Okay.
oot, and then it's not utzdaka, it's utzdaka.
Utzdaka, Uvracha, Urhamim,
Careful, check that word again.
Verachamim,
There you go.
V'Hatsid, Sim, start over. V'Chayim, V'Shalom.
Nice job. Will you go back?
Oh, go back.
No, she's done.
I think we're
Okay.
done.
Sorry.
Two new ones we need.
Two new ones.
I'll do-
Helene,
Yeah, I'll do the first
Herman,
one. Yeah.
and so we have another volunteer.
I'll do it if I can get through it because I've
Okay,
lost.
Corinne,
See,
we'll
do
help
the
you.
best- Do the best we do the best we can, but
You got it.
Yeah, but Tov Avenecha Levarech et Amcha Yisrael. No, Yisrael. I know that by
Yep.
sight. Okay, sorry.
Bechol et eight. Of chal
Careful, see that how the vowel underneath it is bigger? It's chol,
kol. Of kol.
uvchol,
Of chol. Shaya.
sha'a.
Sha'a. Okay. Bishlomecha.
Nice. Now, Corinne, will you pop up a line and read the line above it?
Yeah. V'tov. Be'ainecha. Be'anecha. Is that right?
Be'enecha, yeah.
Be'enecha. Levarech et Amecha Yisrael.
Bechol 8 Uvchol Sha'a
Trying to show some interest here.
Sha'a
You right.
Bis Bisrael Bislomecha.
The shin.
Bishlomecha.
Good job.
Bishlomecha.
All right, and the last line for Sim Shalom. Who gets the very last line? Who's the lucky lady? Someone maybe who hasn't had a chance yet? All right, Sandy.
Baruch atah Adonai hamvorek es amo Yisrael bashalom.
And I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, this whole shva thing, Baruch atah Adonai ham varech. Some people say hamevarech. When I asked the rabbi, he said that shva doesn't make a sound. I think there's different rules that different players play by. I've heard people say hamevarech. So either one, I would say you're okay. Unless you are reading Torah, someone might correct you, but for prayers, I've asked a couple of times, I've heard different answers.
Maybe
So-
there is
So
no right
Taha-
answer.
The ha, I understand, means the usually before, so then, then mu would be the first part of the main word. That's the same question. I know Lori had the same question with the, was it the Bishalom, up earlier when, well, the tzedakah, but I had another question on this last one where you, the line above, the word is peace. So shalom is the main word. Book can mean in. So is it be shalomeka? I don't know. I mean,
So you're asking if it's be shalomecha or be
Yeah.
shlomecha?
yeah.
Yeah. I think we did that before. We had that question come up before when we were doing the prayer for Israel.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Because the B is a prefix,
yeah.
and bish shlomecha, bish. Yeah, it wouldn't be bish. I think it would be shlomecha.
Shalomecha. All right, I'm gonna
I
consult
think we're
other
splitting
sources.
hairs though.
What?
I think in a way we're splitting hairs.
Yeah,
Well, I want to get the right answer. I will go to a different source, a different rabbi this time. So
If we can keep up, I don't think anyone's going to hear the difference.
That's what I said.
yes, but
Yeah.
some people are
Splitting hairs.
very detail oriented. I want to respect them. Let's see what you
I'm just amazed at how far we've come.
yes.
I
Well,
can't,
since I didn't know how you sounded when you started, I think you sound amazing.
I do too.
Many of us started and we couldn't read a sign that said kosher. We didn't know an aleph from a bait. So we
Wow.
are.
Well, look at how much that means, how much you've put into this.
Yeah.
Good job. Sandy?
I mean, I know we're on the Amida, and I don't know if anybody else figured this out, but when we do the evening prayer, the evening Amida, instead of Sim Shalom, it goes with Shalom Rav. Now I didn't, so
Correct.
I just learned that, so I don't know if any, other people knew that. I just thought I'd share it.
I'm not sure I can tell you why, but when you're I saw it in the Machzor as well, that it will say if it's daytime, do Sim Shalom. If it's evening, do Shalom Rav. It's nice to have a little variety, and I'm sure there's a really good reason for it. I will see if I can find out the answer.
Debbie,
Yes.
going back to Lori's question for a second on Utz Dacha, it wouldn't be only be, I would say, to say the shva because it's tzedakah then. No?
Tzedakah.
Tzedakah. And looking at the translation, I don't know, generosity maybe. I mean, maybe it's tzedakah. If you don't have the shva, then it's utz dacha, which doesn't sound the same. I don't know. Lori and I were just kind of talking about that. Like,
Well, I will ask again. I will find out. We will solve this mystery, the mystery of the shva. Which interestingly, I was at religious school the other day. I am kind of helping, not the interim director, but helping. And 6th grade was dealing with shva. 4th grade was dealing with shva. We deal with shva all our life, I have a feeling. Anna?
Yeah, I think that those of us who have said don't worry about it are coming from a place where it is a fine point that I have a feeling there are very few, you probably have a natural Hebrew speaker who will give you a rule. And I admire you, Debbie, for your patience with those people who enjoy hearing the finer details. But those of us who keep saying it's not a big deal, just don't want anybody to get hung up on it so that it's for while they're reading.
Right, it
It is
shouldn't-
one of the lesser questions, and often, as we've said before, it changes by the person, it changes by their where they learn Hebrew, it changes by the music that's used, because occasionally an extra syllable is necessary. So yes, I think it's wonderful, Debbie, that you research these questions. I do. And but I have a feeling the rules are going to be nebulous. They're going to be kind of
I'm sure
all over
there's an
there.
official rule, but Israelis are probably not the right person. According to my rabbi, the Israelis, they don't necessarily be bothered with rules. A lot of times they'll just like say it as they hear it. And think about the grammar rules for English. How many of us know all those grammar rules? Because we're just speaking. It's the
Right.
people who learned English as a second language.
Right.
They know the rules more than we do. So,
Right.
well, let's see. Thank you. Let's read and see what we just sang about. Sim Shalom. Would
Debbie,
someone like to
I just
read?
wanted to say about the rules. I
Yes.
think us do know the rules, but that's where slang comes in. We ignore them. We know the rules, but we take the shortcuts.
That when we say ain't, those types of things, it becomes vernacular, and it's hard. So I appreciate what Hannah said. We need to know the rules. We like to have the specifics, but not to the point where it keeps us from being able to read.
That's what I said. Let's not split hairs.
Yeah. Well, let's read in English. Who would like to read Sim Shalom in English? Charlene, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Grant peace to the world, goodness and blessing, grace, love, and compassion for us and all the people Israel. Bless us, our Creator, united as one with the light of your presence. By that light, Adonai, our God, you have given us a guide to life, the love of kindness, generosity, blessing, compassion, life, and peace. May it please you to bless your people Israel at every season and at all times with your gift of peace. Baruch Atah Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace.
Beautiful. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but every Jewish prayer service always ends with a blessing for peace. And I find the wording interesting here. We're not supposed to be asking God for anything on Shabbat, but may it please you to bless the people Israel. So we're not saying, please bless us, but hopefully you'll find you'll want to bless us. Just an interesting way. Kind of like when a kid gets around the rules to get kind of what they want. Any questions about
this is a good example of what we were talking about. You could say, may it please you to bless your people Israel at all seasons and at all times with your gift of peace. You're changing the words, but it means the same thing.
Right. Sometimes if you read a word differently, it changes the meaning. But again, how many people who, unless you're fluent, would know that? We do the best we can with what we know today. Any questions on Sim Shalom? No? You ready to move on?
Yep.
Pretend you're at a B'nai Mitzvah. The B'nai Mitzvah kid is singing Ein Kelohenu. So, but we're not going to sing it. We're going to read it so we get the words right. The nice thing about this prayer is that it
repeats and repeats and repeats.
So let's talk about the history of it, where it comes from. The background for this prayer is that it's 20 sentences, each count as a blessing. Jews are exhorted to make at least 100 blessings daily. On weekdays, the Amidah contains 19 blessings and is said 3 times, which is 57 blessings. And the remaining 43 are said during other parts of the daily service, as well as during other events throughout the day. On Shabbat and festivals, however, the Amidah consists only of 7 blessings. Ein Kelohenu was designed to ensure that everybody would see at least 100 blessings a day, even on the days when the Amidah is shorter. It's sometimes chanted at the end of the morning service of Shachri. In the Ashkenazi tradition outside of Israel, it's only said at the end of Shabbat and festival services towards the end of Musaf, immediately before a Talmudic lesson on the making of the temple incense. However, in the land of Israel, as well as all Sephardi weekday morning prayer services, it is said daily. In some other regional traditions, it is used elsewhere in the liturgy, but it seems to be known worldwide. In many synagogues, it's sung. In some Orthodox synagogues, it's only said quietly by every person for themselves and is not regarded as a critical prayer for the service. I don't go to Orthodox services, so I wouldn't know, but interesting. So here is Ein Kelohenu. Let me take this down so it is not distracting you.
I think for those of us who sing it, it's a challenge to read it.
Well, good. I'm glad you're going to have a challenge today.
Yeah.
So this is nice because it's two sentences together. They both start with the same words. So we'll have two people read two and then flip. Do I have any takers? Terry and Artis. Terry, you want to go first?
Okay. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemohenu, Ein Kamoshienu.
Oh, now Artis, you're going to read those again.
Okay. Ein Kalahenu, Ein Kodonenu, Ein Ein Kamalhenu, Ein Kamoshienu.
Great. Does that work out okay for everybody? If somebody reads two and then somebody else repeats the two?
Yeah.
Okay. Hannah and another volunteer. Susan.
Mi Elohenu, mi Chadonenu, mi Chamalkenu, mi Chamoshienu.
Good job. Susan?
Mi Kelohenu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kemohenu, mi Kamoshienu.
Great. Artist, I'm not sure if, no, I don't know somebody's computer is making
a sound. Yeah, I hear
buzzing.
it.
I don't know. How about if everybody mutes?
Yeah,
And then, all right. So now we're up to Nodeh. We need two volunteers, Elaine and Robin.
Nodeh le lohenu, Nodeh la donenu, Nodeh le malkenu, Nodeh le moshienu.
Nice job.
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
That the L's on the beginning of the words are, the Shva is pronounced.
Correct. Go for it. Rob, was that you, Robin?
I just had to unmute. Nodeh le lohenu, Nodeh la donenu, Nodeh le malkenu, Nodeh le moshienu.
Good job. How about our Baruch helpers?
I'll read it.
Corinne and
I'll do it.
Terry, was that a hand up there? Terry and Corinne and Terry.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
Good job. Terry? You have to unmute for us to hear you.
Sorry, I had to unmute.
Not a problem.
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
Anybody seeing a pattern here? Good job. Atta. Two Atta friends. How about Gail and Lori?
Okay, I go first.
Sure.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Nice.
Atahu, now I'm lost.
You're right, Atta.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkenu, Atahu Moshienu.
Nice job.
Is it Malkenu or Malkenu?
Malkenu, because see the dot inside?
Yeah.
It has a cough drop, so it says ka, ka. All right, last two lines.
I have a question
Sure, Hannah.
on the ata part, and the atahu actually. I've been hearing it. I've always said it the way you just did it, atahu Eloheinu, but I've heard it atahu Eloheinu with the accent on the who.
Yeah.
Oh, no, ata on the ta. So I don't know if that makes a difference.
No, I think that's just people, especially someone like my choir director, who just likes to mix it up a little bit. I don't think there's any significance to that. Now, there might be, some people have studied and said, might say, well, that's the original pronunciation, but I've heard people do it, but I've never heard, the majority do not do it that way. But thank you for bringing it up. All right, last two lines for Ein Keloheinu. Who gets them? Hannah, did you want one?
Sure. Is there anybody who hasn't done?
Yeah, I was saying, is there anybody who hasn't gone yet?
Going once, going twice. All right.
This is the one nobody gets because it's different. It's different from the rest. Atahu shehitinu avotenu lefanecha et kitoret hasamim.
Good job. That's a mouthful. Would someone like to have that one be the second person?
Sure.
Who said sure? All right, Elaine.
Am I unmuted? Okay. Atahu shehiktoru avotenu lefanecha et katoret hasamim.
Nice job. When I've sung it, I always say Atahu shek tiru instead of shehik tiru, because it's just what you hear, but it actually is shehik tiru, and I never knew that until just now.
Shehik.
The problem with singing is even like we'll sing rock and roll songs, right? And we hear it in our head a certain way for 30 years, and then all of a sudden you read the lyrics and you've been saying something incorrectly for 30 years because it's a different part of our brain.
It's
Lucy in disguise with diamonds.
Yes, exactly. And some of you know my friend Helene Norman, who is a Rebbetzin, and she was married to a rabbi, unfortunately passed away from COVID. And he was very insistent on her learning the correct pronunciation. And that's why she's taking Hebrew again. She said, I've been singing these things for years, and it's Lucy in disguise with diamonds. Exactly. So
I love that one.
You guys remember the song Mersey Dotes?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Kinley Ivy too, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And and we read. Imagine little kids who they don't read. So that's all being auditory. And when it's cute when they learn to read, and like LMNOP is one word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So would someone like to read in English what we just read in Hebrew?
I'll read the English. I'll take it.
Thanks, Helene.
Let's move it over on the page. There we go. None compares to our God. None compares to our Master. None compares to our Sovereign. None compares to our Deliverer. Who compares to our God? Who compares to our Master? Who compares to our Sovereign? Who compares to our Deliverer? Let us thank our God. Let us thank our Master. Let us thank our Sovereign. Let us thank our Deliverer. Blessed is our God. Blessed is our Master. Blessed is our Sovereign. Blessed is our Deliverer. You are our God. You are our Master. You are our Sovereign. You are our Deliverer. You are the one to whom our ancestors offered fragrant incense.
Thank you, Helene.
This needs some rewrite.
Yeah.
I
I
would
was
like
thinking
this.
the same thing.
Although I have to tell you, in my version, it's all about, it's all he, it's all king, it's all very, very masculine oriented. So I appreciate this one.
Hannah, I was
This
thinking
one's
the
all
fact
king.
that, why would you say none compares, none compares, none compares, none compares, and then say who compares? Like, when you put that first, and then you answer your own question.
Yeah.
But that's just what I was thinking about.
I think that's seems to be a Judaic thing, because if you think of the 4 questions, they're not questions. The first thing they're all answers to.
Yeah, 4 questions,
Not-
7 days, 14 years, 2 times. Yeah, and there was a
This is-
Jeopardy. Yeah, there's a Jeopardy question about how many days did was Jesus in the wilderness? And I knew it was 40, not because of the New Testament, because everything we do is 47. It's all in, and 40 is a big number for us. So
Four.
that's all right.
Sandy, did you
is-
have a comment?
I think this is more of a challenge. You're saying none compares to our God, and then you're challenging them. Can you come up
Yeah.
with anyone who compares to our God? That's
That's a
the
good
way I
point.
read it.
Very good.
I like that,
very
Elaine.
good.
That's good.
Sandy?
In one of the books, I think it was the Ein Kelohenu, which they were using for the intermediate course a couple of semesters ago. We started out with Ein Kelohenu. They explained that the order, I think, has less to do with how it translates, but that the Aleph and then the Mem and then the Nun spells Amen. If you look at the Nun, for the end letter, the Aleph and the
Oh,
spells
that.
Amen.
never
And then the
noticed
Baruch
that.
Atah, so it's supposed to be at the end. You're supposed to finish with Amen, and then it's like you're starting over again. It was my understanding, if I remember it right, because it's been a while since I've read it, that this used to be at the end of the service, but then now other things, for example, Elenu have been added, and so at one point this was at the end of the service. I think it's told us, and therefore, they ended with this, and then it was like starting at the beginning again. So
Thank you, Rabbitson Carlton.
That was
Very
wonderful.
nice.
Never noticed it.
that was
Very nice.
as they said, that was we started out with this Ein Elokeinu, was Amy Schwartz started it when the first Hebrew class last fall, and that was the first reading, and that was one of the first things they talked about. So it's not from me, it's just what I
Well,
read.
thank you for sharing it, and that's pretty
It's
wonderful.
probably, it's
How
probably
many
not
times
from
have we
her
read
either.
that prayer and never noticed it?
Me
When
either.
I was growing up, it was always the last thing in the service.
Yes,
That was ages ago.
it's the last thing my Kazan sings. That's her favorite last thing.
What is?
En Kelohenu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it
Okay,
looks like
Our
we have
last
time
two.
for one more prayer. Our
I know.
Alenu, which I have to say is not my favorite prayer. I was hoping I would like it better with Lev Shalem's translation. I don't like it any better. We had a rabbinic intern we have a lot of rabbinic interns from Hebrew Union College because it's here in Cincinnati. So we tend to get Reform rabbis who will come and, they want to learn. It's a good experience. And one rabbinic intern, he and his wife would not do, what we would do is we'd read the first page of Alenu and then read the second page in English. Whenever he was in charge of the service, we do it silently because we didn't like it. So
Is it the bending of the knee? Is it that part of it that?
we'll take a look at it.
But
Alenu
didn't you?
means what?
I was just going to ask what you didn't like specifically.
I don't like the language about how everybody will bow down to God. And I feel like everybody has their own religion and their own belief system. That's kind of how I read it, but we'll see what Lev Shalem has to say about it. Its origin means it is upon us, or literally it's our obligation or duty to praise God. It's recited at the end of each of the 3 daily Jewish services and in the middle of the Rosh Hashanah Musaf. It is also recited following Kiddush Levana, the blessing outside at night for the new moon, and after a circumcision is performed. It is second only to the Kaddish, all its forms, as the most frequently recited prayer in the current synagogue liturgy. A folkloric tradition attributes this prayer to the biblical Joshua at the time of his conquest of Jericho. This might have been inspired by the fact that the first letters of the first 4 verses in reverse, Hoshea, which was the childhood name of Joshua. Another attribution is to the men of the Great Assembly during the Second Temple period. An early period that is pre-Christian origin of the prayer is evidenced by its explicit mention of bowing and kneeling, practices associated with the temple, and its non-mention of exile or desire to restore Israel or the temple. Its first appearance is in the manuscript of the Rosh Hashanah liturgy by the Babylonian Talmudic sage Abba Arika. He included it in the Rosh Hashanah Musaf service as a prologue to the kingship portion of the Amidah. For that reason, some attribute to Akira the authorship, or at least the revising of Aleinu. But in the name is Blois or Blouse, France, in 1171, it is alleged that a number of Jews, reportedly 34 men and 17 women, were burned at the stake for refusing to renounce their faith. They are said to have gone to their deaths bravely singing Aleinu to a soul-stirring melody, which astonished their executioners. Some have suggested that this act of martyrdom inspired the adoption of Aleinu in our daily literature. But Aleinu is already found at the end of the daily Shacharit in Machzor Vitri in the early 12th century, well before 1171. So, for whatever that's worth.
Actually, Debbie, what you've been doing is so wonderful. Is there any way you could send the research that you've done on all the prayers?
Of course.
I'm loving that. I'm just loving it.
I'm just thinking it's interesting. It just helps me to have a little bit more kavanah when I sing these.
Yeah, they're wonderful, and I really appreciate that. Now, because it's our history, this is our tradition. There are going to be multiple explanations.
That's for sure.
Because that's, the 2 Jews, 3 synagogues. I think I've said this before. That's why we have so many attorneys that are, and it's a field we like to go to. So nobody in my family, but because there's this constant discussion and evolution of the Hebrew and the meaning. So I'm taking a couple of Torah classes, but I love the succinctness of your research, Debbie, and I'd really appreciate it if you could send us those.
I will send it out.
Thank you very much.
The last part, it's like, now, am I going to be able to hear Aleinu without thinking of these martyrs? But we'll see. It
gives me a different perspective, because when I see Aleinu, my first thought is, oh, it's over. I sometimes even mark it when I'm especially tired. I'll put a marker in my book.
Well,
I do have a
now
marker.
I'll think a little bit more religiously.
Okay, Elaine. All right.
We do it like 3 times during a service in various forms, short forms. It's like the Kaddish. Short forms, long forms, but we definitely do it more than once.
No, we don't.
We don't. We do it at the end.
Yeah.
During Musaf on Rosh Hashanah, we do it multiple times. And I don't know about your rabbis or chazans, but mine go down on their knees and put their heads to the ground. So during Shabbat morning, I don't think my synagogue does it.
Rob and I have a cancer who went down on her hands and knees and belly when I think she was 9 months pregnant during Yom Kippur. And she went, she's young, but she went all the way down with this huge belly. So,
wow. My rabbi at my first shul, they actually had people whose aliyah was to go stand beside the rabbi and
Right.
they'll pick him up.
Yeah,
Everyone
we have
they
that.
never did that.
We
So,
do that. It's not an aliyah, but 2 people are assigned per
Right.
person. Yeah.
well, that's what they called it in my old shul, was everybody got an aliyah, got something for them to come up, but not an aliyah to the Torah. That was the language they liked using. So,
Somebody is talking on the phone.
we got it.
But-
All right.
Thanks.
So let's do our duo partners again. I think everybody who wanted to read has at least had one turn, if not 2. So let's start again.
I'll start.
Helene and
Yeah.
Charlene. Is your hand up, Charlene? Just have to unmute.
Charlene, will you be my partner?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I muted, I had to unmute.
Okay. Aleno l'shabeach la'adon hakol.
Latate gedulo
Careful,
liot
look under that lamed.
gadola
Yep.
lotsera barishit.
Okay, let's go back to the word that starts with lamed. Take a look at that again.
Ser.
So we do pronounce the yud, yo.
Ser. Sorry.
Good, liotzer.
It's 2 dots. Should it be an A?
Liotzer. Yes, but it's hard to say liotzer. So it
I
comes
know,
out
it's
more
hard.
like liotzer.
Breshit,
And the
she
last
said.
word,
Oh, I already said it once and then you had me go back. Okay.
can you read the last word again?
Sure. Bereshit.
There you go, great.
The first line. Okay. Alenu Lishabea Ladon Hakol.
Latate gedula liotzer bereshit.
Nice job. Line 3 and 4. Robin and looking for another hand.
I'll do it.
All right, Gail, thank you.
Lo asano kegoye ha'aratzot.
Vilo samanu kim
Careful, because there's not a E under the cough.
kimish pichot. My clothes not real good today.
Kamish
Pichot.
pechot. Try it again.
Wait, kimish. I see a schwa under there, so pichot. Yeah,
Good.
okay, pichot. Ha'adama.
Nice.
And I go up to here now, right?
Yep.
Hello, asanu kigo ye ha datzot.
Careful. So
Datzot.
close. That's it. Good.
Datzot.
The lo samano kemish pachot ha'adama.
Nice. 2 more. Hannah and Ardis.
Shalom, is that where I am?
Yep.
Okay, Shalom, Sam, Helkenu, Kahem. 2, Vigoralenu. Did I lose somebody?
Who volunteered? Who was the second?
Kichal,
Ardis.
I am.
Hamonam.
Oh, hold on. Gail's the second.
Okay.
Artist is.
Okay, now I lost my place because my husband just walked by on the phone. Lenu, is that where we are?
Vigoraleni,
Vigo.
yep.
Lenu, Vakal Hamonan.
Go back to the word right before the last word. Try that again.
Vachol.
Careful, it's not a bet.
No, it's a vet. No, it's
No,
not.
it's not a bet. It doesn't have a backside, so that makes it a ka.
Ka. Kachol. Kachal.
Kechol, because see the vowel is large.
Right. Kachal. Hol. Hamon. Hamon. This is bad. Hamonam.
You got it. Now you go up a line and repeat that line.
This one up here. Okay. Shalo. Sam. Halkenu. Chachem.
V'gor aleinu kichol ha'amonam.
Good job. Next two, starting with the bowing symbol.
Oh,
Any takers? Lori and anybody else? Lori, I'll be your, Susan, want to be the partner? All right.
Ba'anachnu korim umish tahayim umodim
Livnei melech malchei hamlachim kadosh baruch hu.
Nice job. And will you go back up to the bowing line?
Anachnu korim umosh taharim.
Hold on, let's go back and look at that word again, the second to last word. Try it again.
Umish taharim.
Careful, it's not a resh, it's a skinny letter.
Umish. Tachavim.
Got it.
Umodim. It's very different when you don't sing it.
Yes, it sure is, Susan.
In fact, it seems like a different prayer in many ways.
Lori?
Livnei, can you hear me?
Yes.
Livnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
And by now the blood is rushing to our heads and it's time to stand up. So who will continue with Shehu?
I'll try it.
All right. Thank you, Elaine. And somebody to be Elaine's partner. Hannah. Go, Elaine. You're up.
Shehu noteh shamayim ve'osed aretz. I keep going.
No, it's not.
Umoshav Yeharo Bashamayim Mima'al.
Good job. Back up to the line above.
Shehu Noter Shamayim V'yosed Aretz.
Umoshe.
Take a look at the vowel under that shin.
Umoshav.
Good.
Yakaro ba shamayim mima'al.
Good job. We're getting there. Next line. Next two lines, I should say. Gail and
Okay.
Susan.
Ushchinat, uzo, bigav hey, miro meme.
Nice job.
Hu Eloheinu ein od.
Good job.
Ush ve nam.
Careful, check out that third letter again.
Ush kinam.
Ush.
Ush.
Okay, there's no dot inside of that cough, so it's a cha.
Oh, ush chinat.
Ush chinat, good.
Ush chinat. Uzo. Be agam hey me romim.
Hu Eloheinu ein od.
Nice. Two more sets and we're through that. We'll stop for after we finish these 4 lines. Anybody for emet? Anybody for the truth?
Well, I don't mind doing it.
All right, Hannah had her hand up and Susan.
Emet Malkeinu, Emet Zulato.
Go back just real quick. I wasn't sure what I heard on the second to last word.
Ephes
There, thank you.
Zulato. Ephes
Great.
Zulato.
Kakatuv betorah to.
Excellent.
Emet Malkeinu Ephes Zulato.
Kakatu Betorato.
Good job. Last 2 lines for the day. Who gets them? Don't all jump at once. Artist, is that I think I'll do it. Artist, and who will be artist partner today for this one? All right, Sandy.
Okay, Viada ta hayom vehash shavot el.
Hold on. There's
I'm
a
sorry?
ending on the end of that third word.
Coat, vote.
Vahashevot.
Vote.
Look at the end.
Vota.
There you go.
Vota. El love. It's hard for me to see. Lava. Lava. Vachech. Ki.
Levavecha.
Vecha. Ki Adonai hu Elohim.
One more time.
Al Elohim. Elohim.
Elohim. Good job.
Bashamayim mima'al vi'al ha'oretz mitakat el ein od.
Good.
Yadata adon hayom v'hashavota el levaveka ki Adonai hu Elohim.
Could we go through and sing it once?
Sure can. But hold on, let artist finish her last line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bashmaim mi ma'al ve'al haaretz mitachachet ein od.
Mitachat ein od. All right, so here's the question. If we all try to sing it mic'd, it's going to be very hard because we're all going to be at different places. So is there one person who would like to do the singing and we all sing muted with her? I know some of you have beautiful voices. Everybody's mics are going off.
Come on,
Would you like me
Hannah.
to?
We know you're the singer in the group. Oh, she turned herself off. Okay.
All right, I'll sing it. Sing along. But I don't want to go too high, so I'll start a little lower. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol latet gedula liotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama shelo sam helkenu kahem vegoralenu kechochamonam. Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim veyotzet aretz Umoshav Yikaro Bashamayim Mima'al Ushchinat Uzo Begav He Meromim Hu Eloheinu Ein Od Emet Malkeinu Efes Zulato Kakatuv Betorato Ve'adata Hayom Ve'hashevota Elevavecha Ki Adonai Hu HaElohim Bashamayim Mima'al Ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od. And I made a very big assumption that this is the tune that you guys use.
Yes.
Is there? Did anybody not use this tune at all?
Just, it's mostly just a couple of little parts.
Well, let's see what we just sang. Would someone read it to us in English for this first part?
I'll read.
All right, thank you, Hannah.
We have to go home. Elena, it is for us to praise the ruler of all, to acclaim the creator, who has not made us merely a nation, nor formed us as all earthly families, nor given us an ordinary destiny. And so we bow, acknowledging the supreme sovereign, the Holy One who is praised, who spreads out the heavens and establishes the earth, whose glory abides in the highest heavens, and whose powerful presence resides in the highest height. This is our God, none else. Ours is the true sovereign, there is no other. As it is written in the Torah, know this day and take it to heart, that Adonai is God in heaven above and on earth below. There is no other. And so, Adonai, our God, we await you, that soon we may behold your strength revealed in full glory, sweeping away the abominations of the earth, obliterating idols, establishing in the world the sovereignty of the Almighty. All flesh will call out your name, even the wicked will turn toward you. Then all who live on earth will understand and know that to you alone every knee must bend, all allegiance be sworn. They will bow down and prostrate themselves before you. Adonai, our God, treasure your glorious name and accept the obligation of your sovereignty. Oh, that's interesting. May you soon rule over them forever and ever, for true dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory until the end of time. As it is written in your Torah, Adonai will reign forever and ever. And as the prophet said, Adonai shall be acknowledged, sovereign of all the earth. On that day, Adonai shall be one, and the name of God one.
Thank you. So we'll finish the second part next time, but I just have issue with the fact that we're declaring that this is everybody's God and everybody should pray to this God. I'm a little more open to everybody, all people having their choice of religions and gods. But
I think it's just the monotheistic issue. I think it's just emphasizing that I don't think those are mutually exclusive. I think you can call God whatever you want to, but that there is only one. That's I get from this. Yeah. And then there's one line here that I really like. It says, accept the obligation of your sovereignty. That's suggesting that God hasn't really, maybe the martyrs were trying to pray for him to save them or something, but that's a very interesting line. wonder what the other interpretations, other translations are. Accept the obligation of your sovereignty.
That's like a little chutzpah dika to expect that humans would tell God has an obligation.
Yeah, there's a very interesting, I'm going to have to bring this up. God wasn't quite living up to his expectations. I certainly heard that as a kid. So.
Well, I always learn something new when I'm with you girls. And Sandy, thank you for sharing that about Amen. I'm going to have to point that out to my rabbi. If he doesn't know it, he's going to love it. He probably already knows it. There's another prayer we read that when you look at the first letters backwards, it's actually the name of the person who wrote the prayer. He put his name in the prayer. All these sneaky things. Thank you for sharing your hour with me. Next week, you guys are going to practice on your own.
Yeah, I'll be sending out an announcement. I have it all ready to go with a link. It's going to be done on my own Zoom account. I'll send you out the link. And if you would make suggestions about what you'd like to practice, or if not, I'll pick. Okay, but I'd love to hear your feedback on what it is you'd like to go over. So that'll probably be going out on Wednesday for next Friday.
Well, thank you for doing that, Helene.
I always like going over the Kaddish.
Whatever you want, let me know, and we can go over Kaddish. We can go over whatever you want to go over. But we'll have an hour or whatever time you want. We'll do it next Friday. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody. And I'm going to shul and going to have actually a Shabbat dinner tonight. Woo! Very well. It's very exciting. The first time in 19 months, 20 months. So,
wow.
We have Sisterhood Shabbat tonight. So I'm going to try and get there.
Enjoy.
The first year I'm not participating, and I don't know how many years.
Wow.
We have a scholar in residence and a dinner tonight and a lunch tomorrow at shul. But I think they're doing it outside. I think they're doing it outside.
We're doing
anyway,
it
Shabbat Shalom. You're all incredible. I love being with intelligent, learning women. So thank you.
Debbie, mazel tov on the wedding again.
Yes, mazel tov.
And although you will be seeing me if you come to Makom B'Yachad, because for some reason I thought Rosh Chodesh was Wednesday. And I was talking to my partner and said, look, I said, oh my gosh, it's Friday at noon. I said, I don't know that I can be on. And she said, well, my daughter might be having surgery and I might have trouble getting on. I said, you know what? I'll just go to my car and we're going to be schlepping. But I said, I'll just stop what I'm doing and I can sing Hallel from the car. So if you see me on it's Makom B'Yachad, it's because I got to lead it. So, but thank you. I'll make sure to show some pictures.
Yes,
time after.
Definitely.
Please.
And it'll be hopefully a wonderful time. It hasn't hit me yet. Next week it will, when the company starts arriving.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. I
Hey,
hope everybody
feel
has a
better,
Shabbat
Jody.
Shalom. What?